The CEO yelled at the janitor for answering her call, but his Georgian saved her billion-dollar deal. It was one of those mornings when the sky itself seemed to predict chaos. Clouds hung low over the towering glass building of Ellington Global, their gray reflections shimmering across the polished marble floors inside. Everyone in the office knew what that meant: the CEO was in early. And when Ms. Olivia Ellington arrived early, it wasn't good news for anyone. She was known for her brilliance, a woman who had turned her late father's failing company into a billion-dollar empire. But she was also known for her temper. Every employee walked on eggshells when she passed by, her heels clicking like warning shots against the silence of ambition. Down on the 12th floor, just outside her corner office, a man named Leo was mopping the hallway. He was the night janitor, quiet and polite, always humming soft tunes in a language no one quite recognized. He didn't talk much, but everyone liked him, or at least, they pitied him a little. He was older, probably in his late 50s, with graying hair and hands that looked like they'd known decades of hard work. That morning, Olivia was pacing inside her office, pacing the way only someone who carried the weight of an empire could. Her phone kept buzzing with messages, all with one subject: the Georgian deal. It was the company's biggest project yet, a billion-dollar partnership with a major corporation in Georgia, the country, not the state. They were minutes away from the final virtual meeting that would seal it. But her translator had called in sick. And without someone fluent in Georgian, the deal was at risk. Unbelievable, Olivia muttered, stabbing her finger against her phone screen. I pay people to be reliable. And when I need them most. She stopped when her office phone rang. She snatched it up, irritation burning in her voice. What now? Ma'am, came a hesitant male voice. You left your coffee in the elevator. I thought you might need. Who is this? Olivia snapped. Leo. The janitor, he replied, his voice calm but uncertain. And you're answering my phone now? Her tone rose, sharp as broken glass. Do you have any idea how unprofessional that is? You're a janitor, not my assistant. There was silence on the line. For a moment, Olivia could hear her own breath echoing in the cold space of her office. Then Leo's quiet voice came again, soft but steady. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to overstep. The phone was ringing, and no one was there. I thought it might be important. Important? Olivia scoffed. You think you know what's important in this company? I know when someone sounds desperate on the other end, Leo said gently. And the woman calling, she was speaking Georgian. She said she was waiting for you. Olivia froze. Wait, what did you say? She spoke Georgian, Leo repeated. I answered her in her language so she wouldn't hang up. She said the meeting time was moved up by 30 minutes. For the first time in hours, Olivia's voice softened. You speak Georgian? Yes, ma'am. It's my first language. The words hung in the air like a spark catching dry wood. 10 minutes later, Leo stood awkwardly in her office doorway, holding his mop like a soldier's weapon. Olivia looked up from her laptop, her usual sharpness replaced by something else, curiosity, maybe even humility. You're telling me you can help me communicate with the Georgian delegation? She asked. Leo nodded. I was a teacher before I came here. Back home in Tbilisi. I taught languages. Olivia blinked. You're a language teacher? I was, he said simply. Now I clean floors. But Georgian hasn't left me. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then, without another word, Olivia gestured for him to sit. The virtual meeting began, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. On the other side of the screen were the Georgian investors. Stern-faced, dignified, their translator unavailable as well. The conversation stumbled at first, both sides unsure how to proceed. Then Leo leaned forward and began to speak in fluent, warm Georgian. Instantly, the tension eased. His tone was respectful, his phrasing perfect. Olivia watched in awe as the investors smiled for the first time that morning. "Tell them," Olivia whispered, "we're ready to discuss the revised proposal." Leo translated effortlessly. What had been a broken conversation turned into a smooth dialogue. He didn't just translate words, he carried meaning, tone, empathy. When one of the investors hesitated over a term in the contract, Leo calmly clarified cultural nuances that even Olivia's team hadn't caught before. 2 hours later, the deal was sealed. A $1 billion agreement finalized, thanks to a janitor who happened to answer a ringing phone. When the call ended, Olivia sat back in her chair, exhaling like she hadn't in years. The room felt different now, quieter, softer somehow. She looked at Leo, who was quietly wiping his hands on a cloth, ready to return to his mop. "Leo," she said, her voice gentle, "do you realize what you just did?" He smiled faintly. "I just helped you talk to some old friends from my part of the world." "No," Olivia said, standing up. "You saved this company. That deal was everything." Leo shrugged. "I didn't save your company, ma'am. I just did what anyone would do if they could help." But Olivia knew better. Most people wouldn't have answered that phone. Most people wouldn't have stayed calm when yelled at by the CEO. Most people wouldn't have chosen kindness over pride. That evening, long after the office emptied, Olivia sat in her glass-walled corner, watching the city lights flicker against the night. Her assistant entered quietly with a folder. "About the janitor, Leo," she began, unsure. "Should we file his report or give him a raise?" Olivia said firmly. The assistant blinked. "A raise? And a new position," Olivia added. "I want him on the communications team. Starting tomorrow." The next morning, when Leo arrived for his night shift, he found an envelope taped to his locker. Inside was a letter with Ellington Global's seal and a single handwritten note, "For the man who reminded me what leadership really means." Weeks passed, and Leo adjusted to his new role with quiet dignity. He helped the company bridge language gaps in other international ventures, often working behind the scenes, never seeking attention. But people noticed. They noticed how the CEO treated him, with respect now, even warmth. They noticed how Olivia herself seemed different. Softer. More patient. And one afternoon, during a company-wide meeting, Olivia stood before her employees and said something no one expected to hear. "Leadership," she said, "isn't about who has the corner office or whose name is on the door. It's about who steps up when no one else does. A few weeks ago, I yelled at someone who didn't deserve it, someone who showed me that kindness is a stronger force than authority. That person is Leo, and he's the reason this company still stands." There was silence for a heartbeat, then thunderous applause. Leo sat in the back, embarrassed, but smiling quietly. After the meeting, Olivia found him standing by the window, gazing out at the skyline. "You changed how I see people," she said softly. "And maybe, how I see myself." Leo turned, eyes kind. "We all forget sometimes that we're human first, ma'am. The rest, the titles, the power, they come after." Olivia smiled. "Then I hope I never forget again." Outside, the sky that had once been gray and heavy now glowed with late afternoon light. The city below shimmered with a new kind of brilliance, not just from steel and glass, but from something rarer. That day, a janitor's compassion had done what money and power could not, it had reminded an empire of its heart. And for the first time in a long time, Olivia Ellington left the office without her armor of pride. She walked out into the sunlight, breathing freely, silently thanking the man who had shown her that kindness, not control, is the true language of success. Because sometimes, the greatest leaders aren't the ones sitting at the head of the table, but the ones quietly cleaning beneath it, waiting for a chance to answer a call no one else hears.